What's up, boys and girls? Bookie here, bringing guys another commentary gameplay. Today's gameplay is most likely me using the Assault Strike package, and I bet you I'm going pretty large because, as most of you guys know, I've been living at a different setup, and I've had some internet issues lately, but I've pretty much seemed to solve them and at least reduce them to a minimum so I don't teleport across the screen anymore. What I found out is that when I'm in party chat I just lag everywhere, but once I go into game chat it's a lot more manageable. So lately I've been getting some really beast gameplays. This gameplay here is probably me going like 80-2 or something ridiculous like that. I've got some really high KD gameplays coming up for you guys before Black Ops 2, so get ready for those. But let's get on to the topic of today's video. So the topic of today's video is all about money. Money. So as a young child growing up, I was actually brought up in a pretty poor family. I didn't really have any valuable items. I didn't really have any items at all. And in probably grade 1 or maybe prep, early in my primary school years, those Faber-Castell textures became really popular because the textures the school provided us were pretty putrid. I can't even pronounce I can't even pronounce it. Fuck, I'm just not going to say it at all. But those textures were pretty bad because after like a day, they would run out of ink and they'd become really blotchy. And so everybody there, they just started to buy these Faber-Castell textures and do their artwork with them, colour in. And I asked my mum, could you please buy me those Faber-Castells? Everyone else has them and their artwork looks really good. Could you please buy it for me? And my mum's just like, once I save up enough money, then I'll definitely buy them for you. But it turns out about 3 years later, that's when she finally bought me my first pack. But in the meantime, my mate, he actually lent me one of his. It was like this leafy green texture, and it was on the outside the colour of leafy green, but the ink on the inside was like of an aqua colour. I thought it was the best texture ever. But I felt pretty left out because all I had was one texture. Everyone else had like a pack of 50 or whatever. And they're all connecting them together, making them like into guns and all that kind of stuff. And I just had the single texture, so I couldn't really do much. But yeah, so you're probably getting the gist of things. I was pretty poor, so at playtime and lunchtime I always used to do either one of two things. I used to mainly look around the school for some money. So my favourite place to look for money was next to the canteen. The canteen was actually on top of some wooden decking, so I used to get all of these straws, stick them all together, stick all the straws inside of each other, make like a massive long ass straw, and at the end I'll put some sticky tape and I'll put the straw down the decking and then try and like get the coins out down in the bottom of there. So I was never really successful at it, but I always had my hopes up that I could find like $1 coin down there, but I never really found anything. Every now and then I'll get like a 5-cent coin or whatever. But yeah, the other thing I used to do was just make booby traps in the sandpit for the teachers to walk into, but enough about that. So yeah, as a child, I was just always looking around for some money, whether it be at school or like walking around the streets. I just always wished that I would find like a bucket full of cash so I could give it to my mum and help out the family a little. But yeah, what actually reminded me of my past memories about me wanting money so much was the other day getting off the train. I saw this guy, he dropped a $5 note on the ground. I was just thinking, oh my god, it just sparked memories of me just wanting to get a $5 note, just finding like a $5 note. So I found this $5 note, just picked it up, gave it back to the guy, and yeah, it just felt really weird that finally I found like a $5 note. And then of course I had the decision of whether or not to give it back to him. Of course I gave it back to him because $5 is nothing to me now, and I don't want to take anyone's money. But then a few days later, I was parking the car at Coles supermarket, and these two Arabs, they jumped out of their car real quickly and they started running off, and they dropped $200 notes right there at my feet, and I just quickly picked it up and sprinted over to them and gave their $200 notes back. And I was just thinking, oh my god, what a coincidence. First a $5 note, that was pretty special, but now two $100 notes? That's fucking pretty crazy. And then it doesn't stop there. The next week, I was going to the supermarket once again, but I didn't have any money, so I went to the ATM. And in front of me, in the line, there was this lady. She was a mother, of course, because she had a child there who was screaming her head off. And she looked pretty stressed out, and she was just taking her money, and I just tried to ignore her because the baby was just that bloody loud. And she looked pretty stressed out, so she just got her money out or whatever, and then started walking down the street. And so then I went to put my card into the ATM, and her fucking card was still in there, and her bank account was just staring at me in the face. It was like $80,000 just looking at me. And then I'm like, what the hell is going on? First the $5 note, then the $200, now fucking $80,000 looking right back at me. So I just cancelled the transaction, took out the ATM, and then sprinted down the road to her, gave it to her. And yeah, she was pretty stressed out, but she was pretty happy to see that I returned her money and her credit card. But yeah, I thought this was pretty weird because of all my luck in this week, but it didn't actually stop there. I think this was actually a little test for me. I reckon someone like some god or something, someone up in heaven or something like that, some magical creature, I reckon, was probably playing a test on me to see whether I'd actually give the money back or not. So I passed the first test, the $5 one, then I passed the $200 one, then I passed the $80,000 one, the big temptation. And then the next week, I think as a reward, I got this fucking beautiful job at a engineering services, and I was actually getting paid $60 to $70 per hour, and that was just the best job ever. So that's my commentary for you guys, just telling you guys about my recent luck from going as a little child, being from like no money whatsoever, then recently this year just all of this fucking coincidences just happening to me. So thanks guys for listening to this commentary. I know it wasn't the funniest thing in the world, but I thought it was pretty interesting, so that's why I thought I wanted to bring it to you guys. So thanks very much, and see you later guys for a next video about most likely a ghost story. Yeah, alright, see you later guys.